Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Rawdy Vlogs. We're back with another Cayenne video today. It's early in the morning. I'm going to pick up my little brother. He has work, and I just felt like today was the perfect time to give you guys a quick point of view of me and how I actually drive my car. You guys can see I'm on a little highway in Florida. Highway 19, and we're going to pick up my little brother. Now, I'm making this video because there was a lot of comments on a lot of my previous videos about people keep asking me the same reliability questions about the car. They keep saying, hey, Rawdy, is the car reliable? Hey, Rawdy, update the car. Hey, Rawdy, what are the weak areas? And you guys, I've already made a video on this, so if you want to see that video, is part one. I've already uploaded part one of that video because I felt like, okay, if you guys are not satisfied with part one of the video, then I'm gonna go over part two. I'm gonna basically make this into a two-part series. So consider this to be part two of that video, and the first part of that video is gonna go up. Now, you guys, obviously it's been about 2 months or so since the last time I've uploaded, and you guys can see, I'm going to try to see if I can zoom that in for you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that says 254,000 miles. It's actually almost about to hit 255,000 miles, you guys. So at every milestone this car hits, I basically, I kind of throw you guys a bone, and I kind of like tell you guys how my life is going with the car. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My family, we ended up actually picking up a BMW E46 and an Audi in the last couple months. But I've still been driving this car every single day because I use this car for work, and I still use it as a daily driver. I mean, like I said, you guys, in previous videos, you cannot beat the value of this car. It looks great, especially out in Florida. People break their necks for this car because I guess it's not out here at least, it's not as common car as, say, like a Ford or something. So it's still pretty valuable. One thing I actually want to keep in mind, you guys, is ever since I moved to Florida, the actual value of my car has increased, almost double. I just want to point that out. When I bought this car in New York City for like $4,000, it didn't have much issues with it, but somebody was selling it for $4,000. I've went online and I've checked and seen how much these cars are going for in Florida, and they're going for about $7,000 to $8,000 in decent condition. And I figured, you guys, because my car has so much miles, but it has a whole lot of new parts on it. New battery, tune up, oil is good, stuff like that, you guys. They got new lights, all sorts of stuff this car has. Transmission fluid was changed, transfer case fluid was changed. I could sell this car right now in its current condition. It's not perfect, for a 250,000 mile car, 255K car. It's not perfect, but hey, I can sell this thing for about $8,000 right now. So I'm probably gonna make a video about how to flip these cars relatively soon. But we're basically gonna go over what I strongly feel is the weak parts of this car. Now that it's been almost a year since I've made that video, it's probably been like 8 or 9 months now. So I'm going to give you guys an updated list as to what I feel is going to fail on your Cayenne at any given point. All right, my footage got corrupted, but I wanted to say that another thing that happens to these cars is that the coolant pipes do go pretty often. If you have a high mileage Cayenne, most of the time you don't have to really worry about the coolant pipes going bad because they've most likely been changed. So just keep in mind that if the coolant pipes bust on any of the Cayennes, the starter will die, maybe the alternator too. But most of the high mileage Cayennes you see will not have that issue, mainly because the pipes more or less likely got changed at some point. but that is something you also want to watch out for. Going pretty fast just now, and I just slammed on my brakes. So one thing about this car that's a plus is that you can slam on your brakes and you can stop really hard. And actually, I have another video that I made in the past. I actually upgraded the brakes on my car, so I speed a lot in the car. I'm gonna be honest, it's what it's for. It's a nice car, it's fast. So I tend to speed in it from time to time, and I get to do my thing. But like I was saying about the coolant pipes, if the car has high mileage, there's a good possibility that those coolant pipes were changed and you have nothing to worry about. Another common engine issue, I would say, with these particular cars is the coils. The coils is a big thing that will go bad on these cars. I would highly recommend that you guys, if you buy this car, don't hesitate to swap out the coils and the spark plugs. I actually was having a little bit of jerking and stuttering for a while, and I could not figure it out. So after I changed my spark plugs and my coils myself, my car was running perfect again. Like, it was a night and day difference with this car. I know when you change the fluids on these cars, it's night and day, but when you change them coils and the spark plugs, oh man, it's like this car it's just like out of the factory. Like, it's so beautiful. And that's how you want this car to be. You want this car to be perfect. You want the handling to be great. You want the suspension to be tight. You want the engine to be running perfect at its peak. And that's when you really get to enjoy this car, man. That's when you really get to enjoy these cars. So make sure you guys take some time out of and do a tune-up on your car. Change all of the fluids. The transmission and the transfer case are big ones. You're going to want to make sure that those transmission fluids is changed. If you don't know how to change the transmission fluid, you guys, there are videos on it. Yes, it can be done. Is it easy? Not really. It's not really easy to do it, but if you can pay someone to do it for you or find a friend that knows these cars, I suggest you guys go ahead and do that. Especially if you get a high mileage version of this car, you would never know if that fluid's ever been changed. And I'm telling you, changing the fluids in this car, the transfer case fluid and the transmission fluid, will give the transmission in this car way more longevity, because at the end of the day, people tend to beat these cars up and they don't tend to look after them. Like I said, they tend to buy them and they just don't maintain them when things break because they think it's going to be expensive. The most expensive thing is to react to something being broken. The most beneficial thing is to not be reactive but proactive. So make sure you fix things before they break. Make sure you inspect your tires, inspect your fluids at all times. Make sure your brake fluid is good. Make sure your transfer case fluid is clean. Make sure you got your transmission fluid changed, not flushed, but changed, okay? We don't want to flush the transmission. We just want to change the fluid and get some new fluid in there, okay, you guys? So there's another trouble area, because I know in these cars there are some transfer case issues, and I know that happens because the transfer case gets contaminated with liquid water or something else that gets in the transfer case, because the transfer case on this car hangs so low underneath. And yeah, it's not a big issue, but it's something you guys should keep in mind. So that is all the issues mechanically with the engine and the transmission. Not a lot of issues, but something to look at. Another common issue with these vehicles, I'm pretty sure everybody knows about this issue, is the bearing, the underside bearing. What happens with the bearing, it's not the CV axle, it's actually the drive shaft bearing. It will go bad in this car periodically. So it happens every 50, 60, 70,000 miles, it will go bad. What I actually did to my car is I actually went underneath. I cut out the old bearing because the old bearing actually went bad on my car when I first got it. I actually went under my car while I was at work one day, and I literally made my own bearing. And there's videos on YouTube on how to do this. I made it, and I made it so tight underneath there that it would probably never go bad again. It would probably never go bad again. I've had it on my car for over 100,000 miles, and it's been pretty sound. Yeah, that bearing, it's not a catastrophic thing that goes bad on these cars, but the bearing going bad is something that tends to happen because the rubber is very weak and it can't handle the power of the cars. So what ended up happening is the rubber tends to snap away from the bearing and the drive shaft, and then you end up getting a clunking, thumping noise in your center console, and we don't want that, okay? So that is another weak point. Now, other than that, those are the major weak points, I would say. And maybe the fuel filter tends to go, the fuel filter tends to go out sometimes, but that's not a big deal. That's going to happen on any car. You know what I'm saying? So, in all reality, this car really doesn't have major issues. I know that people may complain about, this car having cylinder scoring or something like that. And I'm going to tell you guys right now that for you guys that are concerned about the engine knocking, these cars have variable valve timing engines, I believe, or direct injection engines. I believe it's direct injection engines. These cars have big engines that are just sucking down gas and oil. They're gonna tick. Okay, if you ever go near a diesel, power stroke diesel, I don't know, a big heavy duty V8 pickup truck, go next to them and go even next to a brand new one, and you will hear it ticking, because that car has direct injection. The engine is so big that it just needs all that gas and fuel, and it's just ticking. It's keeping it running. That's how they work. So don't be afraid if your Cayenne has a little tick from time to time. That is normal. That happens in all Cayennes, even the healthiest ones. What you will be concerned about is a loud thump ticking. Boom, 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 boom. If you just hear light tick, 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 that's nothing to be concerned about. That is perfectly normal. But if you hear something more along the lines of a thick tap, I would recommend you guys change your oil and throw some engine restorer inside of your engine. There's a product at Amazon, not Amazon. There's a product at AutoZone that I use that is basically like an engine restorer. It helps line the engine with, like, I don't know what it lines the engine with, but it basically fills in any scoring that may have happened between when you bought the car and now when the car is at high mileage. I highly recommend you guys throw that inside of your Cayenne. I actually throw that in my Cayenne when I do oil changes, and I have not had an issue so far with it. So I do throw engine restorer in my car. I pay like $8 or something for it at AutoZone. It's like a V8 can. And I throw it in my car when I do oil changes. It's a little grumpy when I first throw it in there, but after a while, it works. I don't know what it does. I mean, I have a high mileage car. I really want my car to, to live for as long as possible. So I definitely throw that engine restorer stuff in there. And you guys, I feel like it's helping my car in some way, shape, or form. And it's not snake oil. It's not snake oil, you guys. It actually does work, and it's been proven to work, and to cover up some of the damage that your engine may have sustained, at any given point in its life. So if you guys feel like your engine is ticking, I'm not going, I don't want you guys to mess up your car, but I personally use this product in my car, and I could say I have not had any issues with it. It is fine. It's been working great. It's in my car right now. And as you guys can see, with a car with this much miles on it, and for it to be rock solid like this, I would probably throw that stuff in my car too if I didn't know anything about it. Other than that, you guys, that is pretty much all of the things that I would say if you ever buy one of these Cayennes, you should definitely go and get done ASAP. Don't waste your time. Just go and just get those repairs finished. Another thing that I want to mention that people have been asking me is, hey, how have you been keeping your paint clean? Honestly, you guys, what I've done to my paint is I try to wash it at least once a week. The paint underneath was already phenomenal. These cars have just good paint from the factory. And especially in the Florida sun, their paint really makes this car pop. I literally break necks with this car because I keep it so clean. The rims is nice. I got new rims on it. Brakes is nice. The outside of this car is almost immaculate, except for like some small like rust damage that it obtained from New York, which I'm not gonna do anything about that right now. Other than that, I have been waxing it, but what I actually did recently is I started ceramic coating it. There's some cheap ceramic coating that I bought from AutoZone, and it works really well in protecting the paint. If you don't know how to ceramic coat your car, go watch a video about it. I would highly recommend you guys do yourself a favor, go to Harbor Freight, buy a cheap I'm not sure what the tool is called. It's a buffer tool, to buff your paint, to make it sparkly again. Just buff your paint out, put the ceramic coating on it, and your car will be shiny. I promise you. My paint looks almost brand new, and my car is 14 years old. So I haven't done anything special. I've just been, I cleaned up the paint, I polished it, I compounded it. I didn't even clay bar it. I just polished it, compounded it, washed it, waxed it, the normal stuff. And the paint underneath was in such good condition that all I had to do was just seal it up, and that's it. It shines for days. So my car looks pretty much like it's at half the mileage, and that's why I told you guys that I could easily go and buy another one of these cars and flip it. I can buy one of these from New York, I can flip it, I can bring it to Florida, clean it up, sell it for $8-9 grand, not a problem. But anyways, other than that, you guys, I'm going to end the video here because I'm almost home. I'm just going to go ahead and just hurry up and get home now. I hope you guys did enjoy this video and this drive along with me. I never do drive alongs, but this has been a nice little thing that I've done. I think I enjoy this, so I'll probably do another one of these. I hope you guys do like the video. Please like, subscribe, comment for more Cayenne videos. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. God bless.